Hiya, how are ya? I'm Nora and this is Rating My Reads. Today I wanted to go through my bookshelves because I am in the midst of rereading my entire bookshelf, and I thought I'd give you an update of what I've read so far because I've only decided this at the start of my channel, which was last month. So I will go through what I've read so far, what I need to read, which is the rest of my bookshelf obviously, my TBR, which is ever growing because I keep buying books. And yeah, so these are the books that I read from my bookshelf this month. Others I've read either on Kindle or NetGalley. I didn't have a great month, but it's fine. 4 of these I read last week for the reading rush. And one of these, which is You Should See Me in a Crown, I bought and read and reviewed. The other ones I haven't reviewed because I've already read them, except for Pumpkinheads, which I will review. I think only on Goodreads. I don't want to do it on my blog because it's just such a short thing that there's not much to say about it. But these are the ones I read from my bookshelf. So that's 5 out of so many books. And then I moved on to the next shelf, which I've read all of these. I read 2 of them this year, I believe. No, I read this last year. I read this when it came out. I read this when it came out. This is not an actual book. It's a backstory guide. It's prompts and activities, so I won't be reading that for this challenge that I'm doing. And Fangirl I read years ago. This is just some of the colourful books that I have. Not including the RPG one, I just didn't have anywhere to put that. And then down here is my Alice Oseman shelf. I know Heartstopper 1 is backwards at the moment. I will change it over at some point, but this is my Alice Oseman shelf, and I read Loveless this year, and I read I Was Born for This year. I read Heartstopper as it updates, so I will reread these because the 4th novel, graphic novel, is going to come out next year, but I will reread them for this challenge. Actually, I can put this up here because I've actually read it. So that's now on this shelf because I read that last month as well. Yeah, that is this one shelf, which is 3 slots. Now on to my big Billy bookcase. Let's start over here. I have The School for Good and Evil and the second book in that series, which I want to get the rest of the books before I actually read these, which is going to be a tricky thing to do because there's about 6 books in the series. And then we have 13 Minutes, which is I Was Dead for 13 Minutes and I Want to Know Why. I've already read that, so I will read it again. These are not my books. Skullduggery Pleasant is not my books because these are my partners. I will not be reading these for this challenge because they're not my books and I don't really care about them, to be fair. They don't interest me. I read the first one, but I didn't like the second one. I think I stopped there. Then we have the small books from the Harry Potter series, which we do not talk about. I will not be reading these. Then we move on to the Throne of Glass series, which is massive. I want to read this last because I finished Kingdom of Ash last year, and it's still kind of fresh in my mind. I want to reread them all at once. I will read these at some point, but I want to finish my TBR before I get into these because, wow, there's a lot. This shelf has my vinyls, this has my Harry Potter books, which I don't want to read, and has my ukulele and all my non-fiction witch books, which I will not be reading for this. Now we have my comic. We have another Harry Potter book. It's a coloring book this time. We have Myths and Monsters. I don't know what they actually are. They're not mine. We have Batman Mad Love, which I will read. I haven't read yet, but I will read for this challenge. We have Minstruck and Minstruck 2. I don't know which one's 1 and which one's 2, but I will read both of these for my challenge. We have Adventure Time, which I will read for this challenge. I haven't read this yet, Tabitha, but I will read it for this challenge. Spider-Man and Deadpool, and Secret Wars, Preacher, Watchmen are not mine. Username Evie can go in the bin. Let's not talk about that. And the rest are just writing books or drawing books and D&D guide. So we move on to the next bookshelf, which is the Mortal Instruments series and You, which is the Netflix series. I have the Hidden Bodies, which is here, which is the second book. So I hope to read these soon, this again at some point, and then I can read Hidden Bodies, which is on my TBR. And then we move to the next shelf, which is the Heroes of Olympus series, which I am not reading until I get the Percy Jackson books because I want to read them all in a readathon. And I will do that at some point. Okay, moving on to the next shelf. We have my Hush Hush series. Then we have my John Green selection, which I used to love John Green. He's okay now, but I used to be obsessed. Looking for Alaska is my all-time favorite book. My Hush Hush series I love so much. So I will be reading those again because I haven't read them in a long time. Next shelf, we have the Ugly series, which is really nice covers. I love these covers. They're so pretty. I love them so much. Then we have How to Love. We have Winter Girls. We have Don't Even Think About It. We have It's Kind of a Funny Story. We have How to Stop Time. And then we have 2 nonfiction books, which I won't be reading. I'm only a little bit of the way through this. Like halfway through. But I do not enjoy it, so I will not be reading it. But this needs to go on my TBR shelf. How to Stop Time needs to go on my TBR shelf because I haven't read it. The rest I've read. Now to the top shelf, which is really high up. It's got a lot of books on it. I have actually read these Hunger Games books, but I haven't read the foil covered editions. I used to have another edition of it. Obviously the slated series. I have 2 shattered because 1 is signed, and I love these books, so I will be reading those again. I have The Kill Order, which is the last book in the Maze Runner series, but I don't have the rest. I don't know where they've actually gone. I think they're back in Ireland. And then we have The Infinite Sea and the Last Star, which is part of the 5th Wave series. I don't know where the 5th Wave book is, but we will find it at some point. Then we have A Mad Zombie Party, which is Alice in Zombieland series. I don't know where the rest of the books are, again, because I think they're in Ireland, but I'm not entirely sure. We have Eleanor and Park, which I don't think I should read because it's a bit of a racist book, if I'm being honest. And then we have Pride, which is a short series collection, which I will be reading. Let me put this Magic Brewery up there again. We also have Ready Player One at the top and Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda, which I also will be rereading because I want to read Ready Player One before the next book comes out, which I think it's this year or next year. Now on to my TBR. These are a lot. This book I'm currently reading. I haven't picked it up in a couple of months, but I am still currently reading it. So I've done my TBR before. We now have Gone here. We have the 100, Day 21. We have How to Stop Time. We have Still Me, which I need to get the rest of the books for. We have I'll Give You the Sun, which was kindly gifted to me by my friend Leas. And we have The Loop, which I won a giveaway contest for. I feel like that's everything on my shelves that I needed to talk about. I feel like I'm going to read the Red Queen series next. I have already read the first one. So I'm going to read Cruel Crown, then Glass Sword, then King's Cage, then War Storm. I don't really care about Broken Throne because it's only short stories, and 2 of the short stories are in here. So there's not really a point of me reading that. Greek Myths I'm going to take slowly. I think that's everything. Let's go back to sitting down. So yeah, that is my bookshelf tour basically. I've pretty much shown you my entire bookshelf. Well, no, I have shown you my entire bookshelf. And I've showed you what I need to read. And I've shown you my TBR, which is nicely behind me. And yeah, I think that this will be a fun challenge and experiment to do. I don't think many people have done this. I don't know anyone who has done this, if I'm honest. But I want to reread my bookshelf because I have a lot of books. And I want to start unhauling books. And I don't want to unhaul books that I haven't read in a while because I just feel bad doing that. If I've read it recently and then I didn't like it or I did like it, I'll decide if I want to unhaul it or keep it or, you know. So yeah, that is this video. If you liked it, give it a like. If you want to see more videos by me, click the subscribe button and I will see you in my next video. Bye!